thank you all for introducing yourselves. We do have people majoring in nursing, engineering, business. So that's wonderful. We have a broad spectrum of interests. And if later on you would want to explore your majors, we can certainly talk about that, and we will briefly. But it's good to have a good focus when you begin with. It makes the navigation of the college experience a lot more smoother. Very good. Here we have our first slide, and on the slide you see our mascot. Do you know what his name is? If you said Andale, Andale is the right name for our mascot, and you'll see Andale in our sporting events and other events around the college and throughout the year. Say hello to Andale when you see him. We're going to cover a few slides, about 20 slides, but we're going to cover them very fast. We're going to make it as short as we can. And before we start with the presentation, we do have our AWC president who would like to say a few words for you. His name is Daniel Kaur. Might be having a few technical difficulties here. Try again.
Hi, I'm Daniel Kaur. Hi, I'm Daniel Kaur, the proud president of Arizona Western College, and welcome to Discover AWC. We are thrilled that you have made the decision to become a Matador. Here's my message to you. Take advantage of all that we have to serve you and facilitate your success. We've got remarkable faculty here at AWC who are concerned about your success. We also have advisors who will guide you through the process of registering for classes, and we have financial aid support and tutoring and all kinds of other support services. Take advantage of those services and get involved. Wonderful student life activities with activities on campus and off campus to make this an experience that you'll never forget. I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm thrilled that you're a Matador. And today, like all days, it is a great day to be a Matador.
Notice that at the end he says it's a great day to be a Matador, and that's the way he ends his presentations usually. It's always a good day to be a Matador. You did do a pre-evaluation. We really appreciate that. That will give us some feedback as to how we can improve our program, our orientation program. At the end of the presentation, we're going to ask that you do a post-evaluation to see the difference between the pre-eval and the post-eval, and hopefully the fact that you came through orientation made a difference in you and how you understand how to register for college. We're going to cover where to find the degrees and certificates for our AWC majors. We'll speak briefly about pathways and why it's important to choose a major, and if not decided yet, we will explain a little bit about pathways. We'll review in detail our, because we don't have a placement test, and some of you have not taken the placement test or an SAT, so we'll cover how you can self-assess in order to take your English and your math class. We'll also cover the sequencing of math and English classes so that you know exactly where you want to start your first semester in English and mathematics. Quickly, we'll cover some success tips so that your journey through Arizona Western College will be more enjoyable, and some ideas and resources that we have here on campus. Go ahead, Admir.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for getting us started and nice to meet all of you and your introductions today. So just starting us off today will be a little bit brief here, but just some differences a lot of you might be experiencing for your first time attending college. So it's going to be a lot different than high school. A lot of your learning is going to take place in the classroom compared to college where you're doing a lot of your learning at home. You're going into the classroom, getting a bit of knowledge briefly, and then you're going home and really practicing, doing all your studying at home and really deep diving into what you learned in class. So a lot of your learning is really going to be done at home, and it's a big difference for the amount of hours you spend in the classroom. So in high school, you're probably there early in the morning till the afternoon. You're kind of there for the whole day. And then in college, for the entire week, you're looking at a full-time student maybe being in the classroom 12 to 15 hours per week, and you're going to have to do a lot more studying at home. So it's going to be one of the major differences. And you have a few differences with college and universities as well. And universities, they'll have a broad range of different programs and colleges within. So for example, they might have a college of education, colleges of sciences, college of business, and those are just some of the basic differences. And as you see down the bottom, we have NAU, U of A, and ASU that we all have a great partnership with here at AWC. And this is the higher education pyramid we have. So this is all the different degrees you can earn at your time at an institution. So starting off at the bottom level, we have skill developmental courses. Those are courses that are really going to prep you for a certain skill, maybe get you ready for your college level classes. And then we get to the associate's degree level, which is what you'll be taking at AWC. So for our associate's degree, you're looking at 60 to 64 credits to earn an associate's degree, and then you keep going on up the ladder. If you want to earn a bachelor's degree, you're looking at an additional 2 years, another 60 credits, so about 120 credits for a bachelor's degree. After that, if you want to keep studying, keep pursuing your education, you have the options to do a master's degree. That's going to be another 30 to 60 credits, maybe a couple years extra on top of your bachelor's degree. And all your professors at AWC will all have their master's degree. And then at the top of the pyramid, you have your doctorate degree, PhDs. That's going to be at a very expert level, someone who's put in a lot of time, a lot of effort into their craft, become an expert in their field. And that's really the top of the pyramid. So with us today, we'll be focusing mainly on the associate degree level, and that's what we'll be referring to today. So what's your major? We asked most of you, everyone who kind of introduced themselves about their major today, and it seemed like everyone was decided. So that's definitely a good thing if you kind of know what your major is right away, and it's good to get on board with everything there. If you're undecided though, we have a lot of great tools for you to use, and just at our website there, azwestern.edu/advisement. We have some great links, resources where if you're undecided, it's completely normal. You can start thinking about some resources to use that can link your personality, and it can kind of line up something that's going to suit you. So you want to be pursuing a major that suits your personality, something you're going to enjoy. And we trying to deter students from changing the major too often. So it's completely normal if you want to change your major, but we don't want you changing your major 4 or 5 times, taking a bunch of classes that don't apply, and you're kind of wasting your time. So we have a lot of great resources. So it's very beneficial if you want to spend some time, look at those links, and learn a little bit more about yourself and what major might suit you. And on top of that, we also have a career exploration class. It's an 8-week course, 2 credits, AWC 104. So if you're still undecided and you want to earn some college credit, Julie is one of the people who teaches that course, and some great resources. They'll go in even more depth about the course and some options if you're undecided, what some career options are at the end, of your major and things like that. So it's a great deep dive, and we have some majors fair as well, leading you to some more career options at the end. So definitely a lot of resources. If you're unsure, it's completely normal, and we'll definitely help you out and guide you through that process.
This is our easy transfer, and it is the web page to visit if you're thinking about transferring to a state university such as Arizona State University, University of Arizona, Northern Arizona University. They have great tools. If you wanted to know how one of your courses would transfer to the university of your choice, you can use the course of fluency guide. And they also have major guide. So it is a tool that you definitely would like to visit uh, early on if you're planning to transfer to the university. Just a few fast facts about our transfer students. Most transfer students do choose business as a major, and AWC has a great record of transferring students to four-year universities around the state. We do know that if a student transfers more than 60 credit hours, or that they do get an associate's or a certificate from Arizona Western before transferring, their chances of success in getting a bachelor's degree are much greater. All right, Admir.
So we have some areas of study, some pathways which you can decide to take and stay within that area and those industries. So we have a bunch of different areas of study, and it allows students to stay within that one kind of cluster of classes. So for example, if you enjoy the business computer kind of area, that's going to have some of your accounting, maybe some computer science in there. If you're maybe into the science engineering, that's going to kind of have some engineering, maybe some biology, that kind of thing. So it's really designed for you to stay within an area, an industry, and if you are maybe switching within that industry, at least you're still within that same pathway. You're still within that cluster of majors and degrees. So it's designed to kind of keep you in that area. And if you are undecided, it's a good idea to maybe slowly start narrowing it down with a pathway, and then we can just kind of go from there and apply a lot of your courses to that same kind of pathway, and then you won't be wasting too much time if you do need to switch a major, and a lot of that stuff applies. So some great kind of pathways we have, and the healthcare is really popular at AWC, nursing, that kind of thing. So some different pathways of study. And now we have our degrees and certificates. So we have our transfer degrees. So if you plan on getting a bachelor's degree, that'll be where you would want to start off with at AWC. So you have your AA degrees, your associate in science, and your associate in business. Those are all going to transfer onto the four-year schools. Then we have our career and occupational degrees. So these are going to be your AAS, associate in applied science. These are designed more to kind of get you specific classes in your industry and your major, so less general education, more specific courses that will kind of prepare you for the workforce right away. So if you earn your AAS, designed more to kind of enter the work right away after your degree and try into the workforce. Then we also have certificates as well. So these are sometimes shorter programs. You can update previous skills you have, maybe earn a pay raise at a job you're currently at, and those, we have a wide range of certificates as well.
Some of our programs require a second application, so all of you were admitted to Arizona Western College. But if you are thinking about going into the law enforcement academy, and I think I heard somebody say that they would, or if you wanted it to go into fire academy or the EMT paramedics program, licensed massage therapy, nursing, and rad tech, all those require a second application. You would need to be admitted to those programs before you can start taking the classes for that particular degree. Some of these programs have prerequisites, and they require those courses before even applying to the program. Like the nursing program has prerequisites, the RAD program has prerequisites. But to get into the actual classes of how to become a nurse, get trained as a nurse or a RAD tech, you do need to be accepted into the program. We do have a booklet that that is in our advisement page, and we also send it to you in an email. You can reference the booklet if you wanted to open it up, and that would be on page 9 for your reference. This is a very important aspect or part of the orientation, and because you want to know what the requirements for your major are. So we're going to go to our azwestern.edu/programs, and if you can open another window to our homepage so that you can see where to find all of our degrees and certificates. We have a page, and on that page we have over 50 degrees and certificates. Some of we actually categorize the programs in arts, humanities, communications, business, social sciences, and so forth. But for the sake of the exercise, we're going to go ahead and open maybe the business, the ABUS degree. And that's the example also on the PowerPoint. And notice that we're going to scroll down a little. It gives you some description of what the program entails. We're going to open the checklist. And on the checklist, you'll see the requirements for the degree program. So the top of it is the required major courses. These are kind of like the common core of the business program for those students who are wanting to transfer to the university. And then the rest of it, you'll see the general education requirements. So you'll see your English, your math, your arts, humanities, social sciences, lab sciences, and then additional general education requirements. It is a good idea for you to have a copy of that. We're going to repeat the same information when we go into self-service. Self-service has the exact copy for each of our degree programs, and you can actually click and play and plan for each of these courses in the semester that you would want to take them. If you don't mind, Julissa, if we can go to our nursing program there. Some of our programs have really neat websites, and our nursing program has also the checklist. This is an example of the Associates of Applied Science. Notice that in the first part is prerequisites. So those are courses that the student would need to have either in progress or prior to applying to the program. Then he has the major courses, nursing 1, nursing 2, and so forth. Those would be taken when the student is in the program. And then we have general education requirements. The Associates of Applied Science would have less general education requirements than the Associates of Arts, Associate of Business, or Associate of Science transfer degrees. If we close that, Julissa, please, we can also, I wanted to take you to the Learn Details so that you could notice that there are some of our programs have really neat and informative websites, and that this is an example of a program that has a real good website. All right, thank you, Julissa. Admir?
Yeah, so as Angelica was saying there's going to be some differences in general education between the transfer degrees and the applied science degrees. So we are going to be referring to the AGEC, Arizona General Education curriculum. And in your booklet, you'll be able to see the specifics on page 6 and 7. So you all do have access to that book and that resource. So just feel free to kind of have a look at that whenever you feel comfortable. But I'm just going through it really briefly for the transfer degrees. You'll notice we have English 101, 102. So you'll need to complete those English requirements. For applied science, just 2 courses that also can include English 100. So mathematics can sometimes be different as well. So a lot of the transfer degrees will have Math 142 or higher. Those also might change if you're a science major, engineering. You will require higher math. Same with business, as we saw, brief calculus would be required. So that just kind of depends on your specific degree. In applied science, usually Math 105 or higher, and it can also depend on your specific degree as well. Then we have arts and humanities, so you'll need 6 credits in that section, 1 course of arts, 1 of humanities, and with applied science, you just need 1 out of both combinations, so just 1 credit, 1 class out of there. Social behavioral, another 2 courses, so 6 credits of social behavioral classes, your psychology, sociology, history, geography, that kind of thing, economics, and then just 1 course required for the applied science. Then you have your physical, biological sciences, that's going to be your labs. So a lot of that biology, environmental science, plant science, that kind of stuff. So you require 8 credits there for the transfer degrees, 2 courses, and then just 1 course for the applied science. Have some additional courses as well. Those might be different depending on your degree. A lot of those can be a language requirement. They can also be another art class, humanities class, social behavioral science, and you only need 1 course of that for the applied science. We do have some awareness requirements as well for the transfer degree. So that'll be mainly the 2 writing intensives. So writing intensive, they just want you to complete 6 credits of writing intensive. Those will be after you finish English 101, and there'll be some courses in the booklet that you can see, and we might go over that a little bit later as well. Some courses that will be writing intensive and fulfill those areas. So you can fulfill those awareness areas within your general education. So it doesn't need to be extra 2 classes. It can all be fulfilled within your AJEC block. Placement tests. And Halika, do you want to maybe go over the sequence a little bit? But I will say I did notice I don't think hardly anyone has any placement tests. So it's pretty much up to you to self-place yourself this upcoming fall. And we just encourage you to be reasonable with your placement test. We don't want you, in your first semester taking something that's going to be too challenging or too easy. So we do know that the testing center will be posting some resources where you can do some practice tests to kind of see some level which might apply to you, and then see what might be best for you to enroll in. But Angelica is going to go over some different majors right now and what sequences of math and English will be best for kind of your major and what to follow.
So you see, if you were to take, if you had taken the placement test, which you won't, right, because of COVID-19, but that very basic English is English 80. This is for students who are having a hard time with their grammar and reading. The next level up is English 90. So this is students who also have trouble in grammar and in some reading, but not as bad as your basic English 80. Then we have the English 100 class, and that class has already the writing process. They'll do essays of 500 words or more, and they do cover quite a bit of grammar. Whereas the English 101, we take into account that you already are proficient in grammar, and your reading skills are high enough for this college level class. For those of you who may feel that, oh geez, my grammar is not too good, but it's not as low as English 90. We would recommend maybe that you take the English 100 along with the English 101. And we call those the combo classes. In your self-service, when you pick your courses, you'll see which classes will have a combo to it, because it says that if you're taking this English 100, you also need to take this other English 101 class. But if you've taken English all your 4 years in high school and you've gotten an A, no need for English 100. You want to go into English 101. If you feel that you're a good writer, but you got that C's and B's in high school and you took all 4 years of high school, well, if your grammar is not that great, you may want to go into English 100 and do the combo English 101. Regarding the reading, we don't have reading classes, so we're going to go down to the math. The math 71 is our basic course, is arithmetic. This is the kind of math that would have fractions and percentages and ratios and a little bit of algebra at the end of the course. So if we do see some students that are lacking in those skills, and because you can self-assess, you may say, I don't need that. The Math 81 is for students who do have some basic knowledge of algebra, but they need some sort of review. The Math 121, it should be around the level of Algebra 2. And then we have the college level courses, which are Math 142 or 150 or Math 151, 187. The Math 142, that is a math for most Associate of Arts degrees, and it's probability and statistics, kind of like what you took in math analysis if you took that at the high school. The Math 150 is college algebra. They do take more time to devote to lecture, and they also have supplemental instruction such as tutors after class for those students who know that they can take a college algebra class, but they need additional instruction. Then we have the college algebra 151, and that doesn't have supplemental tutoring or instruction. And then we have the Math 187. The Math 187 is pre-calculus. It's a combination of college algebra and geometry or trigonometry. The higher math levels are your calculus class and the Math 130, and that's for education majors, and the Math 270 is statistics. Julissa, do you think you can take us to the booklet page 11? And that will serve us as a review. So as you see the sequencing of the courses, you may want to think about, what should I be taking? What English class should I be taking? What math class should I be taking? Please notice that there's the 71, and that is the basic math. And then from 71, students can go into Math 105. And some students, they just go straight to Math 105. There is a warning on Math 105. It is for vocational programs mostly, and some vocational programs require higher math. The Math 105, it's only good if your degree program requires it. But if your degree program requires algebra of some sort, don't take the Math 105. Don't take the Math 105 if your program requires higher math. For transfer degrees, if you were to start in Math 71, then you would go to Math 81. For Math 81, you have a choice, either to go to the intermediate algebra or go to Math 142 or Math 150. Or from Math 81, you can go Math 121 and then Math 151. The Math 150 and the Math 151 are equivalent courses, except that the Math 151 has additional supplemental instruction, such as tutoring. For the business degree, you don't want to take the Math 142. You want to do either the route of the Math 150 or the Math 151, because the Math 212 is the required course and requires Math 151 or Math 150. Math 142 is not going to help you there in the A-bus degree. That's if you're going for the business degree. Now, elementary education majors, you could do the Math 142 or the Math 151. Doesn't matter. They do prefer the Math 142, and they'll take you to the 2 math courses for elementary education majors, the Math 130 and 135. Now, if you're a science major, an engineering major, or a math major, the route is going to be different. And if we scroll down a little bit, Julissa, we can see that, if you started from Math 71, you got a long ways to go, right? The goal is to get you to that Calculus 1. That's the Math 220. The Math 220 will lead you to the Calculus 2, which is Math 230, and Math 241, which is Calculus 3. So you definitely want to go the algebra route. Math 71, that would be too easy if you have taken pre-calculus in high school. If you've taken pre-calculus in high school, I would feel comfortable if you took the Math 150, if you took the Math 151, or if you took the Math 187. You want to take the Math 187 if you're a math, an engineering, or a science major. If you're a nursing major, you don't want to go to Math 187. That's too high of a math. Thank you, Julissa. The question is, I've taken Math 142 and English 102, dual enrolled, and I'm majoring in psychology. I have to take more English and math classes. No, you don't have to take more English classes, but you will be required to take statistics, and that would be the Psych 230 or the Math 270. Thank you for the question. Admir?
Do you want to touch on Yuma Promise? It's still a little bit new to me, so.
The Yuma Promise is an incentive for our high school graduates in 2020. Nobody else can take advantage of before you guys. So it is a privilege for us to offer this opportunity. What does it do for you? It will reimburse your tuition and your fees at the end of your degree with Arizona Western College. But there are some caveats to it or some requirements to it. You will need to fill out a FAFSA application, and you will also need to sign up for the Yuma Promise. And you can go to the Yuma Promise site by going to the search section on any of the web pages at Arizona Western College. You need to be at least 12 credit hours, and you will need to finish your degree in 5 semesters. It's very doable to do so. So at the end of it all, you would transfer to one of the universities in Yuma or online. So you would have to major in one of the programs that ASU Yuma offers, in one of the majors that NAU Yuma offers, or in one of the majors that University of Arizona offers. You can also do a program online, and you could be part of the Yuma Promise. How much would AWC reimburse you? AWC will reimburse you as out-of-pocket expenses. So let's say that you do FAFSA and you only, if you qualify for, fully for a Pell Grant, a full Pell Grant for a full-time student is close to $3,000. So that will cover all your fees and all of your tuition at Arizona Western College. So you would not be reimbursed. But let's say that you pay everything out of pocket. We will reimburse your tuition and we will reimburse your books, but not, I'm sorry, no, not your books. We will reimburse your tuition, we will reimburse your fees, but not your books. All right, no books, tuition and fees only, and out-of-pocket expenses besides your scholarships and your Pell Grant. And these are the degrees available in Yuma. That's on the first column, you will see the University of Arizona. Those are the degrees that will also qualify for the Yuma Promise if you decided to stay in the Yuma area. And then we have a few degrees with Arizona State Universities and quite a bit with NAU Yuma. And remember that for the Yuma Promise, if you do go for an online program, that would also be covered under the Yuma Promise. It is a rare opportunity for our Yuma residents to have all 3 state universities represented in the AWC campus. Great advantages to staying in Yuma to finish your bachelor's degree. It would be less expensive if you do that. ASU, for example, would charge $6,000 for a program in Tempe. But if you do one of our programs here in the Yuma area, they only charge $3,000 per semester for tuition. And you save, of course, on your living expenses if you were to stay with your parents.
So we have some financial aid, and as Angelica touched on there, for the Yuma Promise, you'll need a financial aid application. So hopefully everyone's at least tried to apply for financial aid and start working on all the documents. And it is a bit of a process. So you will need to get in your taxes, get in a lot of your high school diplomas, and a lot of paperwork that they require. So just make sure you're checking your email, turning in all the missing documents you might have, some verification forms, things like that. So once you've been accepted, you've earned your financial aid, you qualify, we need to kind of keep some certain standards to keep that financial aid. So if you're getting money from the government, we need to keep certain standards to keep that money coming in and paying for our classes. So the first step will be we need to enroll in classes that apply to our area of study. So I know we have a lot of business majors today, and using that checklist that we went over earlier, as long as you're enrolling in classes that qualify for that checklist, that qualify for your degree, financial aid will pay for those courses. So if you start and think you're going to take something just for your personal benefit that doesn't line up with your degree, financial aid's not going to pay for that, because they want it to go right towards your degree and for you to graduate. We also have some satisfactory standards that we need to meet academically. For those, we need to keep a 2.0 GPA, and that's going to be cumulative. So from your first semester to the end, once you graduate, you need to be keeping a 2.0 GPA. So just C's or better to keep that GPA. And first semester, like we talked about with your placement and everything, we want you to place yourself on a good level, start off with a strong GPA and set you up for success. We also need to complete our completion rate of 75%. So if you start earning some D's, some F's, that's going to start affecting your completion rate. Also, if you start withdrawing from classes, that's going to affect your completion rate as well. So that's also going to be cumulative your entire time at AWC. You're going to need that 75% completion rate. So hopefully we can be passing all our classes, keeping a 2.0 GPA, and keeping our financial aid. Financial aid also covers 80 credits. So it gives you a lot of time, a bit of a buffer there. We talked about most of our degrees are going to be around 60 to 64 credits. So it does give you a little bit extra there just to keep your financial aid and to really achieve and earn your degree. So it gives you a bit of time. And there is some other options. If, for example, radiology, that's a program that requires more than 80 credits, and there's some paperwork you can do to still earn financial aid when you exceed that amount of 80 credits. So yeah, just to maintain, can't completely withdraw from classes. So for example, you earn your financial aid and suddenly you think, oh, I'm going to withdraw from all my classes, I'm going to just pocket the financial aid I earn. Doesn't work that way. You have to start repaying that money back you'll be sent to collections, and you'll have a balance that you owe. So definitely can't be doing that. No shows and Fs. We definitely want to be avoiding those F grades, those D grades. That's going to hurt our completion rate. It's going to hurt our GPA. So we really want to be avoiding those. And just the 80 credit maximum, the faster we can get it done, it's going to be more beneficial for you. You're not wasting time, and your financial aid will pay for it as well. So just try to keep these standards to keep your financial aid. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to them, the financial aid department. It's all located on our website. Make sure you're getting all your paperwork handed in, and just any questions, they'll be able to help you out, and just make sure you keep all your standards to keep your financial aid. So we have some terminology here that will be useful for your time in college. So we talked about credit hours. So often you're going to see 3 credit and 4 credit classes at AWC. So that's just the amount of time you're spending in a classroom. So for example, English course is English 101, that'll be a 3 credit class. You're going to be in the classroom 3 hours per week. Now, when you get into some of our science courses, those are going to be 4-hour courses per week with some labs, those kind of things. So it's going to be a little bit different there, but it's just how much time you're spending in the classroom. Dropping and withdrawing, this is something to really understand and get a clear picture on, because there's a big difference here. So within the first 2 weeks, you'll have a drop and add week. So that means you're able to drop a course and maybe add another one. If you went to class your first day and you thought, hey, this wasn't what I expected, this isn't the course that I want to be in, you're able to drop that course, no harm, no foul, and it's not going to affect you in any way. It won't be on your record, and no payment. You'll be reimbursed, you'll be refunded for that course, or you can use it as credit to add another course. So the dropping within that first week has been extended to 2 weeks because of this no placement testing. So you just have a little bit of time to drop, and there'll be nothing on your transcript, nothing affecting your GPA. Whereas we have withdrawing that we talked about with financial aid, and the difference between withdrawing and dropping is after that drop add week is over, now you're in that class. You've earned that seat in that class, you've taken that seat up. So if you suddenly think a month later, hey, this class isn't going as I expected, I'm probably not going to pass this class, you have the option to withdraw. So that will be on your transcript, that won't affect your GPA. So in some cases for financial aid, instead of maybe taking an F and hurting your completion rate and your GPA, maybe it's better to take a W, withdraw from the course, and then you're only affecting your completion rate and not your GPA. So just make sure there's those 2 differences you're aware of, because it is a big difference, and dropping and withdrawing is a question we get often. So we also have prerequisites and co-requisites. So prerequisites, just simply classes you'll need to complete before registering for a certain class. So for example, we brought up nursing. We had some prerequisites for that program. But there'll also be some prerequisites for certain classes. So biology 201 is a prerequisite for nursing. And then a prerequisite on top of that will be Bio 181. So there'll just be some prerequisites you need to do to complete for classes, and then there'll be co-requisites as well. So often these classes go hand in hand. They'll expect you to take one class at the same time as another class, and they'll kind of go together, and you'll learn a lot of that knowledge together. We just have the semesters, so fall and spring are traditional semesters that everyone knows about. And we also offer winter and summer sessions as well. So if you want to find an extra class or 2 over summer, over winter, just to speed up your timeline and your track to graduation, it's a great option over winter and summer to add some extra classes. And we do have a catalog year as well. So everyone coming in as a freshman for fall 2020, you'll all be part of the 2020-2021 catalog year. So you'll follow those standards and those requirements. So whatever your major requires you to complete for that catalog year, you'll follow that until your graduation. We do have a Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So when you are now enrolling in college, you're becoming a student, you have the right to privacy. So no one has the right to know your grades, know anything about your financial situation, your financial aid, none of your academics. So it's just your right to privacy, and it's totally up to you who you share that knowledge with. So we won't share that with anyone unless you get a waiver. And even if your parents, your spouse, anyone wants to call us and say, hey, how's my son doing? How's my daughter doing in this class? I want to know. We can't share anything with them unless you've signed a waiver to give them the right for us to give them that information. So you definitely have that right. You're protected with privacy, and that's up to you. So just some strategies for planning for success. It's just important, especially early on. You're coming in as a freshman, you really want to start off on the right foot and be set up for success. So with academics, we really encourage you to talk to your instructors, be engaged in the classroom, really ask questions and be engaged. If you don't know anything, don't be shy, really raise your hand and get the most out of your time in the classroom. We have a great success center on campus that offers free tutoring. So we definitely encourage you that, especially early on. It'll set you up for success, and a lot of great tutors there. It's all free. Even right now with the COVID situation, we have online tutoring as well. So it's really a great resource, and we recommend you make the most of that. Not often you can get free tutoring, so it's a great resource. And just time management's really important. You want to be managing your time. When it's time to study, get some studying. When it's time to go to class, make sure you're attending your classes. And just time management, as you'll learn in your college time. Maybe procrastination might not be the best thing, waiting last minutes to get a whole bunch of assignments done, and just a little bit of planning can go a long way. And just reading your textbook. So most of your professors, they're going to assign you reading material. Just make sure you're reading your textbook. They are quite expensive. We are trying to go to more open educational resources where they're not so expensive anymore. But when you do buy a textbook, make sure you just get the most out of it. Really read the textbook and gain that knowledge that's in there. We have just a lot of resources at AWC. Take advantage of those resources. We have a lot of groups and clubs at AWC. Go to a Matador sports event. So we have a lot of sports. It's all free with your student ID number. We have just a lot of events going around campus. So often that'll be sent to your email. It might be, hey, come to this part of campus. We have some kind of event going on. So just get involved, and it's a great environment to be part of. And we also have jobs for Matadors. So if you're looking to earn a job on campus, we have a section where you can submit a resume. You'll get feedback on your resume, and they'll start guiding you through jobs you can start applying to. Maybe, Angelica, do you want to touch on some of the groups we have on campus and how they can also set you up for success?
Yes, on the booklet there are our student resources, and some of the resources that you'll see is the KEYS program. The KEYS program is for first-generation students. That means if your parents never got a bachelor's degree, you will be considered a first-generation student. The beauty of that program is that they graduate you. They do a real good job graduating students, whereas the general population graduates at around 62%. They graduate their students upwards of the 80%. So out of 100 students, they graduate upwards of 80 students. So that's a real good record. They chase you around, they provide tutoring, they advise you, they take you to trips. They really form a community of learners. Another program that it's new is the YES program that has a scholarship attached to it, and that's for first-year students. It's called the YES program. Look it up in the search box. It's brand new. It is. You're also going to have access to a Canvas page, And the YES program will be there, and it's also for first generation students. And the other first generation program is the CAMP program. If you're a migrant student and you would want to take advantage of a residential opportunity, they do offer residence halls scholarships, and they also do a wonderful job graduating their students. And that's one of the guidelines and requirements of their program, to continue receiving funds, that they graduate students. So highly recommend those. Thank you, Edmund.
So these are just some more tips on creating your schedule. So do you want to be a part-time student, a full-time student? What's going to work for you? So we mentioned that 12 credits is considered full-time, but to finish within 2 years, which we encourage, you're going to be looking at 15 plus credits per semester. So it might sound like a lot, but really it's very doable. And 15 plus credits in 2 years. You do have those winter, summer sessions where you can kind of make up some credits here or there as well. But yeah, 15 plus credits to get you graduated within 2 years. What works for you, your personality? Do you prefer maybe an early person, having some early classes, getting it knocked out earlier in the day? Or do you maybe prefer some evening classes? We offer night classes. And some spread out, maybe some time for studying in between. So just anything that works for you, you have some flexibility to build a schedule that suits you. You definitely want to create a realistic schedule. So if you are working, you do have family obligations, church activities, all kinds of different activities. You want to create a schedule that works for you and it's going to set you up for success. So maybe if you're working 40 hours a week, maybe being a full-time student might not work for you. So maybe just getting into part-time and just going along and whatever just suits you. You definitely have some flexibility just to build something that's going to help you. Study time, 2 hours of study for every 1 credit hour is a great formula. People who follow that formula tend to be very successful with their GPA and their academics. So just set some time up for studying. Planning goes a long way, and it'll set you up for success. Definitely take a course in your area of study. We mentioned that for financial aid. Financial aid will only pay for courses in your area of study. And just to keep you on track, get you graduating, you want to take courses in your area of study. And just some more things to consider. You do need to earn C's to graduate. So for graduation and transfer, C's or better. So if you're following your study tips or your guides, reading textbooks, that should be achievable. No show. You definitely want to make sure you attend class your first week, your first session. That includes logging in if you have an online class. So make sure you don't get no-showed. So for example, you don't show up that first week of class, the professor might look around and say, hey, this student hasn't come, he's taking a seat in my class. I'm just going to give him a no-show and open up that seat. So you just want to make sure, same with online. If you in an online class and you don't log in that first week, they can keep track of who's logging in, who's looking at different content on their web portal. So make sure you log in that first day of class so you don't get no-showed. Just the drop and add weeks we've talked about and withdraw dates. Good to just note those dates and be aware of when those deadlines are so you can drop and add and just make sure you withdraw before the last day to withdraw, if that's something you do want to do. Just take care of your GPA, use the Success Center, lots of great resources available. So just make sure you're kind of taking care of your GPA for financial aid and your own academic benefit. And just the last thing that's coming up more and more now with COVID-19 is just in-person versus online. So online seems to be more of a popular trend, especially with the virus, and whatever suits your personality. If you're comfortable taking online courses, go ahead, keep taking online courses even when things kind of get back to normal. Who knows when that may be, but you definitely have the option to take classes in person or online. So for the fall semester, we have options both in person and online. So it's just up to you. If you're more of a face-to-face learner, want to ask the professor questions in real time, that suits you a bit better. A lot of the time, your math courses might be more beneficial in person to understand those formulas and the algebra that you're trying to learn. And online, maybe if you're writing some essays, things like that, and you can just kind of sit down, be creative with your writing, take some time online. So just whatever suits your personality, but it is something to think about now with the virus situation.
I had a question earlier, when is Canvas going to be available? We're using, as of now, Blackboard, but as soon as summer courses begin on the 26th of May, we're going to switch to Canvas. You can access Canvas by the same way you access self-service and your Toro email with your NetID and your password. If the class that you're taking, if you're taking a class in the summer and your class is still not appearing, it's because the instructor hasn't made it available yet. You will, that usually happens a few days before the class begins, or right the day of when the class begins. If your Canvas online course is not showing up, then you would need to contact Distance Education. That will be the office responsible for managing Canvas. Your self-service on top is what we're going to be concentrating on, because that keeps your registration materials. So we'll be able to register online using self-service. It also keeps track of your transcript, and if you wanted to request official transcripts eventually when you transfer to a university, you can also communicate with an advisor using self-service. So your registration materials and personal files are going to go on your self-service. Your Toro mail is your email, and we'll communicate officially through Toro email with you. When you are communicating with an advisor or a professor, make sure that you use your Toro email, and it's just to make sure that we protect your privacy. We also have Office 365. On that file, we have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, your Outlook, which is your Toro email, and a few other applications free of charge for you. And again, for any of those, you could use your NetID and your password. We're going to turn it over to Julissa, because Julissa is going to show you how to use your self-service. She'll go through a few slides, how to register for classes. She'll also cover My Progress, and that will be the listing of the courses that you would need in order to complete your degree. Are we good, Julissa? Sometimes we have issues with Zoom, but we'll try to make it work. So just a couple of things. What do I take my first semester, right? And that's very important. You want to take an English class, a math course, and you're going to take one class or two within your major. So that's about 3 or 4 classes. And you can also take general education requirements. Your general education requirements could include your arts, humanities, social sciences, or lab science. All right, Julissa, it's all yours. And she just logged in to self-service.
Angelito, do you think you can actually do the voiceover for me? I won't be able to be speaking during this part. Just tell me where to go and I'll navigate it for you.
Yes, very good. This is, once you log in, this is what you're going to see. You're going to, and notice that it has different menus. It has your student finance. That's where you're going to find how much you owe. The course catalog that has houses all the courses that we have. And your graduation overview, you're going to use once you are ready to apply for graduation. And then the next one on top is your financial aid. The financial aid tab has information on your financial aid award. So if you want to know if your financial aid came through, you're going to check that tab. Make sure that on that financial aid tab, you have all the documents required to be awarded. And we'll go to the financial aid tab in a little bit. But then what you want to go into when you're trying to register for classes is student planning. And that's where Julissa is at. You go to My Progress or you go to Plan and Schedule. What we want to make sure is that you have the right degree program. In this case, this student has the Associate in Arts and Family Studies, and he also has a second degree, the Associates in Psychology. You can declare a couple of programs, but we also suggest that once you decide on one, that you just keep it as clean as you can. If you go to My Progress, you will see the listing of all the requirements for your degree program. For the Associates in Family Studies, the first part is the degree requirements for the required courses within the major. So it has the close relationships, the child growth, and the nutrition. So you will need to take all 3 courses. Then it has that it needs to take 1 more from human development, and it also has additional departmental requirements. The student will need to complete all those courses and make sure that you read. Sometimes those department requirements are going to say take 1 out of 3. In this case, they want you to take, if you're a family studies major, all 3 of those. So make sure that you do read the fine print, because it does make explains the program more in detail. Then the second part of it is your AJEC-A, and Admir was explaining that transfer programs have a block of general education requirements. When you take that block of Gen Ed, it assures you that all those general education requirements will transfer to the university, to the state universities. So this is the AJEC-A for the Associate of Arts. It has English, it has math, and notice that you don't have to take all of those math courses. You just need to take 1 of them, because that's how it details on it. Just take 1 course. Then you're going to see that you're going to need some arts. And then notice that none of them are a drawing class. It's not a drawing class. It's not a painting class. It's not a ceramics class. Your arts class will need to be from the list from there, and just 1. And there are mostly historical overviews of some sort of art, music, or theater, or the film studies. Then you have the humanities here. And for this degree program, it requires that you take 1 humanities. You can see that you could take a literature class, or you could choose a philosophy or a religions class. This program is a social science, and for this student, the FAS 160, he chose it also as part of his major, but some programs have dual applicability, whereas you can also use that FAS 160 under social sciences. So that means that the student is double dipping. His FAS 160 is covering his degree requirements and also the social sciences. You'll also see the lab sciences there, and for transfer degrees, they need 2 lab sciences. Now, this is what you're going to see for your major. Now you can start planning. You can start planning your English class, for example. So if we go all the way to the top, Julissa, from the AJEC, so we can see the English 100, the English 101 on there. All right, so it's already planned, but if we were to plan it just for the sake of the exercise, you will click on the English 101. From there, you're going to go to add course plan and add the course to the fall semester of 2020. Maybe you do want to take it for the summer. It's up to you. That it gives you several options. And then we can go back to my progress and do some more planning. And we can plan for, go ahead and go down. We're going to plan for an arts class, the art history 141. Again, we add the course to the plan for the fall of 2020. Okay, so you're wondering, where does this all go to? We're going to go to academics. To plan and schedule. To student planning. And then go to plan and schedule. And we're going to toggle forward. We'll see the summer, and then we're going to see the fall semester. Notice that those classes went somewhere, right? They went to your fall semester or to the fall semester of 2020. So we're going to find the art history class, and we can view sections. And notice that it has 1 out of 2. That means that there are 2 pages for that art history 141 class. And if I like that first one, it has 16 seats available, and I like that schedule, I can go ahead and add that to the section. On the right-hand pane, you're seeing that it went to an actual calendar, so that visually you can tell where that class is going to fit in the day. Well, let's pick that English 101. This is very important because some of those English 101s have combos, and you want to make sure that the class that you're picking either has a combo or doesn't have a combo. An example of a combo is that English 101 003. If you will click that for me and go ahead and see how it has the English, this English 101 class needs to be taken along with the English 100 003. So that's an indication that it has a combo. I was helping a student too with the English 101 008. If you would open that, Julissa, for me. The 008 with Sarah Snyder. And so I said, go ahead and take that English 101 008. And then I didn't go far enough. And notice that it also is a combo. It's an English 100 008. So take those 2 together. And then it gives me additional information. That particular class, it's only for KEYS program students. You have to contact the program before you can start the class. So all those additional information, make sure that you view those because that they won't allow you to register unless you have special permission for those. So we could pick the English 101 003 in case you wanted it. If you're thinking about the combo, but you don't have to take a combo. You can just do the English 101 straight. And there are some, actually many sections that have English 101 without the combo. And I'm going to add that to the section. And notice that it populated the English 101. So Julissa did pick one that's not a combo. It's just an English 101. And that's okay. So this is the way you would go about picking your classes. We are asking students that if they're going to self-place, and most of you will, that you can go ahead and plan your schedule using self-service, but you won't be able to register online just yet. Instead, you're going to go to fill out a registration form. And to get your registration form, you're going to need to go to our azwestern.edu. And what I do, the easiest way to find it is to type in registration form on the search box. And there it is. Notice that you're going to have to do your personal data, correct? And then under course section number, you don't have to fill out the whole thing. Just do the course section number. In the case of our example, we decided that the student was going to take the English 101 013. So that's all you need to plug in. English 101 013 on the section number. This form you're going to email to records@azwestern.edu. I'm going to go ahead and write that on the chat so you can see where you're going to send it to. That will be at records.
And while Angelica is doing that, there's also, I'll just chime in really quickly on here. We actually have an option to filter out sections. So for example, if you did see on the English 101 again, and if you do view some of those sections, if we just view some other sections, there is going to be 14 pages. So we can filter it down, and you could, for example, choose the location. Maybe you want to take classes in San Luis. You could choose a location, or online. Maybe people want to take classes online. They're busy with work. And then see, it just gives you now, instead of 14 pages, just one page. So those filters can make it a lot easier to navigate if you kind of have something that already works for you. So it's just a useful tool as well to kind of use. And there's some links as well that we'll be sending out to you, just how to navigate this. So if you aren't catching this all right now in the moment, there's a short 3, 4, 5-minute videos that we have that are together about 14 minutes, really brief videos that are really useful and will teach you all how to navigate this whole portal, so you'll be able to register, plan classes, and it's a really good explanation of how this all works. But hopefully you do get an understanding of self-service and can plan some classes, kind of go through your progress, see what classes interest you, and kind of start planning them and just using that registration form to get registered.
You can actually, if we go back to my progress, we have the capability of planning a year ahead. So you could go, each course and plan for this semester and for next semester and for the summer. And we do have exact times for the classes for the spring semester as well. If you do see that your major is different than what you want, if the major is not listed properly on my progress, please let us know. Someone is going to follow up with you on Monday and Tuesday, and this is when you can bring it up, and they'll change it for you. we would suggest that you try to do your schedule on your own before, before, hopefully before Monday, and try to send those registration forms to records at azwestern.edu. And if you feel that you would want to speak to somebody on Monday and Tuesday, do so, but we would encourage you to start that process today and get your classes registered. Any other things that you would want to add, Admir?
No, I think that sums it up, and those videos are really useful. So if you are kind of struggling to get the hang of it, and maybe it's getting a little bit messy with self-service, just watch those tutorials because they break it down step by step. And I'm sure all of you are pretty technologically savvy, so I think just with a little practice, you should be able to pick it up quite quickly. And it's just a great tool because you can plan out your entire 2-year degree plan. So you could start planning classes from your fall semester all the way until graduation. So just the more you can plan, the more successful you'll be, and there'll be a lot of tools on your self-service, and you can check your financial aid. And I saw we had a question about financial aid earlier, and if you just check the financial aid section of your self-service, you'll be regularly getting updates. There will be some situations where classes are full and you will get put on a wait list. In that situation, you'll have to be checking and monitoring your Toro mail. When that happens, just make sure if you're on a wait list, someone drops the course and you get a chance to get that seat, you'll just have to monitor your email, see that, and then register within that 24-hour window they'll give you to get into that class. So it's just important to start using these tools, self-service, Toro mail. They're all free tools. You get great resources. So that's how you're going to communicate with your professors, your advisors, anyone on campus, financial aid. So just be good to get all your accounts activated as soon as you can, and just kind of familiar with that process.
Thank you for staying through the session. And we would want to hear back from you. We do have a post-evaluation, and that's from our advisement page. We just want to make sure that we're giving you the correct information that will be useful for you through the registration process and hopefully beyond. We do have Canvas available for students, so you can play and start playing with it. Like I said before, your classes won't become available until we approximate at the beginning of the term. And if you are still exploring career options, go to our page on advisement for career exploration. And continue playing with your student planning, and hopefully next time we see you, you're going to have a whole year planned out for you. And we're always willing to help. We're glad to help. We're glad that you're here. Send us an email. We'll get back to you. We're ending the session. We're going to hang out for some time. So if you don't have any questions, or if you do have questions, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask questions, or continue asking questions on the chat. We're going to hang out here for a little bit. For those of you who do not have additional questions, we thank you for coming. You are dismissed. And for those who are wanting to hang out and ask questions to the advisors, feel free to do so. We'll stick around.
Thank you, and we appreciate your time today and attending Discover with us, and hopefully you learned a little bit of something today and can hopefully get registered, but if not, we'll have some other advisors reaching out to you Monday and Tuesday.
Jordan, do you have any questions? You're good?
Yes, so I am going to be raising a guide dog puppy. So what would I need to do to be able to bring it to the college once the college opens back up and once things start getting back to normal?
I didn't get the first part, I'm sorry.
So I am going to be raising a guide dog puppy for the blind. What would I need to do to be able to bring the dog to school once things start getting back to normal? The dog will be going to high school with me too.
Oh, okay. We do have, you know, your service dog is welcome to the campus. We do have accessibility services that if you need special accommodations, you can request those through accessibility.
Hang on. I don't think you guys quite understand. She raises guide dog puppies.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't. My
Yeah.
hearing is not bad, so I apologize for that. So,
She raises them for the blind.
Oh, okay, all right. And what was the question then?
Is there anything special she has to do to be able to bring the dog onto campus? Like the high school had to, you know, approve it happening. So the dog currently goes to high school with her now.
I personally would think the first place to start would be our Office of Accessibility, because even though she does not need it, that is what it's being used for.
Mhm.
It would either be that, or you'd have to go to our administration Sharon Register, which lays down the rules for the entire campus. But I would think it would be more advantageous to start with our Office of Accessibility and explain to them exactly that what you're doing, and they could. I would say that would probably be the fastest, easiest way. That's
Okay.
my thoughts.
Thank you.
Zam, did you have any questions?
Scares them all the way.
I had a quick question. If I wanted to make my schedule, would I be able to have like somewhat like an advisor with me so I can make like the right choices?
Yeah, we would also encourage you to build your own schedule so that when the advisor gets to you, it will be a yes, that's good, or you can make this change. Definitely, and somebody will be in contact with you either on Monday or Tuesday.
All right.
But do have a plan ready, Esteban.
Yeah. Thank you.
Zam, you are muted. Do you have a question?
To hear me?
Not very good.
How about now?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, cool. What's the email that we send in the registration form to? You said at records at Toro?
At azwestern.edu.
Okay, so records at azwestern.edu. Okay.
Yeah, and because and you were the one who asked about having previous college credits.
Yes. So I used to live in Maricopa County, and I went to a community college over there, and I think it's only like a half semester of credit that I got. But I don't know if maybe those could be transferred over here, or 'cause if I remember correctly, I did complete, I think it was like a reading course, and the other course was like an introduction. I forgot what it was, but I'm not sure if maybe that could be transferred over here, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was thinking it was more like an English 101, a college algebra, stuff like that. And it's okay, and it's okay. We don't need your transcript unless it's an English 101 or a math course. And that introductory class, was it like a psychology introduction?
Honestly, it was just honestly it was a reading class. Some I didn't complete any of my other courses just because some unforeseen events happened, and so. But I think it was just a reading class, to be honest with you. It's been a while. It's been a while. So
So you will be doing some self-assessment, and you can go ahead and send your registration form to to records@azwestern.edu.
okay, okay.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much.
All right. Brian, you're hanging out there, Brian. You must have a question.
Yes, I have a concern or question.
Mhm.
Every time I try to log into my self-service, a red box comes up saying login failed. Please check the username and password. And I have the correct username and password, but it doesn't let me log in. What could I do?
Yeah, you need to contact the help desk.
Help desk. All right.
And they'll figure it out for you.
Yeah, because I've been trying to log in since last week, and it doesn't let me log in.
Yeah, that's not fun. Yeah, the help desk would definitely help you out.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Brian. Any other questions you have?
No,
All
thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you for.
Thank you for the help.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
A little bit shorter.
A little bit.